the Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, you guys. Hello. How are you guys doing this evening? We have enjoyed the silence. Hola, Serge, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, enjoy the silence. Thank you for asking. We're doing well. We have our wonderful moderator, Joe, in the house. Yay. We have Yay in the house. Yay. We have Chemist. How are you, Chemist? Good to see you. The lovely Kellycopter, and all of you. Well, JP, not that Helen. Let's dance. Hi, Serge. Yeah, let's dance. All right, you guys. Well, let's just spray some rose water. Take a deep breath and just like that, be transported into a completely different paradigm, because we are here in this year 2024, peeling a lot of layers, peeling a lot of confusion, and frankly, confronting things that have remained very not confronted for a very long time. So we always knew that the pushback was coming. We always knew that part of getting to the reconciliation of truth is being able to face the facts, or like they say, face the music. And I want to really give a heartfelt, sincere thought for all of you guys that have sent me such incredibly eloquent and incredibly supportive messages. So all of that is giving us oxygen. All of that is allowing us to be able to stand in our truth and speak truth to power without being afraid. We realize that that is very much what this journey of surviving trauma calls for. And it doesn't just apply to the Scientology trauma survivors. It's applying to every single one of you guys that are here, that have had your own plights, and that are joining us in this mission of really empowering survivors. So the title of this video, as you guys all see, is We Need to Talk and We Need to Confront Whitewashing. And this is referring to the video that was just made by Sterling. So hi, Sterling, shout out to you. You do have my number, so give me a call anytime you want. Anytime you want to chat, anytime you want to direct anything at me, you do still have my number. So let me know. In the meantime, we are going to address the subject, guys, because it's not about a video. It's not about an opinion. It's not about anything like that. We know that what we're speaking about is a much, much broader issue. And, quite frankly, we welcome the pushback. We welcome the disagreement, right? Because if the disagreements are not brought forth, you guys, in what world are we ever going to be able to change a shred of a thing? So I really took a little bit of time today to really kind of ponder about what it means to have, literally other kids of my same generation, people that I know. Now, just so you guys know, I didn't never work with Sterling. So I only know Jenna from being her supervisor when she was a child, starting at age 12. So I'm perfectly aware of all the things that Jenna and I went through in those courtrooms. And I also know Sterling's other brother, Justin, his twin brother. And he, you guys, was sent across state lines from California to Florida to be in Debbie Cook's RPF hole. Now, I don't remember if he was a minor when he got there, but, he was a minor when he was doing whatever in the hell they were having him do at Gold. So I never knew Sterling until much, much later in our lives. We actually were roommates for a few years when he first got out of the Sea Org, and we spent a lot of, a couple of years. So that's sort of like my history and what I know about him. So I haven't spoken to him in a very long time, and I did see he was addressing me in his video, you guys, and just I didn't get to watch it, but you guys have written me enough to it that that I saw enough of it. So let's just talk about the bigger issue and the big elephant in the room, which is demanding urgent accountability for systemic child abuse. In this searing call to action, we confront the insidious practice of whitewashing that seeks to obliterate the harsh truths survivors endure, particularly in the context of systemic child abuse perpetrated inside Scientology hotels. Now, just clarification, because I did see that some of the comments keep saying, like, why is Serge calling it a hotel? Like, maybe it was a hotel before, but guys, it's a hotel. You check in, you buy a room, you get room service, you have a bellboy, you have a reception. The Fort Harrison is still operating as a hotel. And guess what, you guys? Not only is the Fort Harrison operating as a hotel, so is the Sandcastle operating as a hotel. So is the Yachtsman operating as a hotel. So is the Manor at Celebrity Center operating as a full-blown hotel. If you didn't have eyeballs inside of those walls, you might have really bought the pitch that it was a church and that all manner of people were doing very churchy things inside of these hotels. And that is the narrative, the false narrative that we're pushing back on. So before you come at me telling me that we weren't inside a hotel, go for yourselves, those that are questioning that, because it's a hotel. So as of the year 2024, everyone be advised, the Fort Harrison Hotel is a hotel. Mind you, you won't be able to check in. You won't be able to check into these hotels, you guys, unless you are willing to put yourself through what they call an A to J check. But just remember, Scientology doesn't want to save the entirety of the whole world, you guys. Scientology is actively hand-selecting, hand-picking. Oh, this family would be great for us. Let's really do these A to J checks. And let's really find out for ourselves if this family would pose a liability to the hotel before you are approved for services. Isn't that great, you guys? So just like that, anyone that wants to check into the hotel, anyone that wants to stay in the hotel, they're all vetted before being allowed to stay in the hotel. There's even a captain. Debbie Cook wasn't the captain of the hotel, you guys. Debbie Cook was the captain of the delivery of the services being sold inside converted hotel rooms that did get turned into video camera hotel rooms with massage tables right next to us and a little desk where we were supposed to really carry out all these interrogations, being supervised by the executives, being watched as they were happening live, just as you guys are seeing me here. The executives have a whole room, except they don't have just one little dingy television, you guys. Back in the day, it was a whole entire wall. Literally, boom, 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 boom. And I would know because I spent my formative years starting at age, what was it? I think 15 when I started in the Sea Org. Inside of these rooms, you guys, I was going into the ivory towers, which are, again, another, thing that they say. It's an ivory tower. You're going inside the ivory tower. You have to have a special card to get inside of these ivory towers. Not everyone has access. Not everyone can see what they are seeing inside of those offices. In fact, you guys, most Scientologists have no shred of a clue what these case supervisor offices look like and what said case supervisors, full-grown adults that also are in the practice of grooming minors to do whatever in the hell they're doing as well. So at the time, let's say it was like Richard Reese and Alan Kardosinski, the infamous Alan Kardosinski, who was case supervising Lisa McPherson. And they had like Martina Foyce, an Italian girl that was also a minor, you guys, brought by Debbie Cook to be trained to be the senior CS of Verona. So these hotels couldn't be more international. These hotels couldn't be more acquiring minors from a lot of different places. I mean, you guys hear about a new country every day, I feel like. Bianca from Kelly's last interview, which you all should really go and watch, because Bianca speaks about what it was a little bit. You can tell it's very, very hard still for her, but you can see how hard it was for her to be Debbie Cook's slave for 4 years. And it really actually speaks to what I went through with that woman. So hotels. So if any of you who have never been inside of these hotels wants to call it something else, then that's fine. You call it whatever in the hell you want. We're not here to control the way you guys refer to it, but I'm not going to be told that there weren't hotels when we were inside a hotel. The urgent appeal is resounding declaration for survivors to stand unapologetically in their truth, asserting the right to demand immediate and unambiguous accountability. The message starkly illuminates the attempts to downplay the realities survivors face, underscoring the urgency of their voice in the face of those who would minimize the significance of their experience. It is a vehement rejection of any efforts to silence child survivors of these hotels, insisting that their demand for accountability is not only justified, but critical for preventing further atrocities, especially ones that they are all perfectly aware are still taking place as we literally speak. You guys, imagine that every last shred of L. Ron Hubbard protege decided for themselves as full-grown adults to leave all critical thinking skills at the door, outside of the hotel. Part of the contract, you guys, is you can never, under any circumstances, criticize, push back, or question L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard directive, since he was dead and in his grave, about to have his whole sham fall apart, until Marty, Mike Rinder, and David Miscavige really did take it upon themselves to come to the rescue. Oh yeah, let's get L. Ron Hubbard out of the grave, you guys. Let's get Monique to really help us. Let's really type another pitch to really posture this as an amazing church. It's not a church. It's a hotel. And as we sit here on this live, and I would know, you guys, I've been going to that testing center, and yes, the PTSD and the CPTSD is real, because it is triggering to be there. It is triggering to feel you are under watch. It is triggering that one moment we can be there, and 1 second later, the LAPD takes it upon itself to send four police cars after somebody was just exercising their First Amendment right. You guys, don't forget the sham that Dave, Marty, and Rinder set up for themselves. It's all based on a First Amendment right, you guys. Don't tell us what to do. We can do whatever in the hell we want in these hotels. We can do whatever in the hell we want that L. Ron Hubbard wrote inside of the hotel, because it couldn't be more covered by the First Amendment right. That is what in the hell we've been told ad nauseum. Everything goes because L. Ron Hubbard wrote it. Everything goes because the First Amendment right supersedes the entire Constitution, including slavery. So isn't that great, you guys? That literally, under the guise of the First Amendment right, that, you know, Scientology has really protected for itself, right? Scientology has really made a case. Don't tell us what to do. Don't tell us what to say. Don't tell us what in the hell we want to do inside of these hotels. No oversight is allowed. No one gets inside the hotel unless they pass their check. But yeah, someone singing on a microphone outside. He did go inside, you guys. Like, he did take one couple steps in there, and, you know, they're very, very pressed that he did that. They're feeling extremely harassed. Harassed enough to literally, as you all now have probably seen by yourselves, you guys, a BOMB is what they filed to get all those cops to come and continue to intimidate us. Continue to make us feel like we are the criminals, the ones that are asking the questions, the ones that are taking it upon ourselves to waste more of our life as if they hadn't already taken their entire formative years. But sure, we'll waste more of our life as we video, record, and get evidence and get receipts that continue to be ignored by law enforcement law enforcement, you guys, that does get access to the hotels. And believe you me, they don't need an A to J check to come in because they have really, really, really greased the wheels with that LAPD. They are what in Scientology they call fraternizing. Imagine that Scientology executives, you guys, taught all the kids to never fraternize with the public, you guys. You really want to be very professional. You really want to be very robotic. Never be too friendly, never be too cushy, because God forbid they influence you. And you know what they were really pressed about, you guys? They were pressed that the public, we're talking the rich, entitled patrons of the hotel, that all manner of people are out there cradling and canoodling. Oh, well, if you are in a cult, you really can do whatever the hell you want, because what? Because the First Amendment said so. Okay, great. Now, if the First Amendment is do and say whatever in the hell you want and write it, and it induces illegal activity, we would love to hear, since we didn't go to high school, since we have no education whatsoever. Since we couldn't be more clueless, we would love to hear how, including but not limited to, you guys, and you've already seen it on the community tab, Mike Rinder had literal memos stating the last two are, of course, illegal, which was what? Breaking into people's places, blackmailing, buying information, as if OSA already didn't do that with LA Streets, you guys. As if OSA didn't already hire investigators to get to the background of LA Streets, because he's really causing us a lot of commotion here and he's really putting a lot of eyeballs on us. And, you know, if Scientology had nothing to hide, then they would be loving the eyeballs. I mean, who wouldn't want? I mean, businesses pay Jessica to promote them, you guys. Businesses go, yo, Jessica, here, let's figure out a deal. So literal influences that can be, you know, doing cushy jobs with brands that would die, to exponentially blowing them up. But, you know, Scientology gets that service for free. And why are the people still there? Because nothing makes a shred of sense, you guys. And finally, you know, and in speaking to that community, it is a change. It is a change because the community is finding out that the scam is a scam, and a sham. So why are influencers that could be literally doing whatever in the hell else they want? Scientology couldn't be more irrelevant to them. Is the stupidest thing ever. But yeah, they're there. And yeah, they're there because they have smelled the rat. And they now have skin in the game. And what does that mean? They have skin in the game, you guys. They've been actually watching, witnessing firsthand. They're not being told by an executive that, oh yeah, we treated the kids real well. They literally have seen Sebastian. They really literally have dug into the past of these kids. And yesterday I found out that there's a girl in there, a blonde girl, that her social media said she went into the Sea Org at 16. She's 18 now. So in what world has a shred of thing changed? For all of you that really want to go, my God, relax, Serge. Everything's going great. You should be so proud and so thankful for, you know, for nothing. That's what we're being told, you guys. Be proud and thankful for nothing. When we literally have eyeballs So it's not like, oh, we're really going to make a big deal about this. We have eyeballs. There's a girl there that was recruited as a minor. And these influencers are finding out. They're not being told like the lazy, pathetic media that just wants to speak to all the executives, really get a story for themselves to grift AF. They have no skin in the game. They've never spent any time outside any of these hotels. They've never gone in. They just get manipulated because they couldn't be more pathetic. They don't know the first thing about investigating anything. Anything. The corporate grifting media is in the business of laundering images. And that is not my opinion, you guys. I'm being told that, oh, you can't broad strokes. Broad AF stroke. Where is the corporate media putting skin in the game in the stories other than, okay, really tell me what happened? Okay, well, we can water it down like this. We can water it down like that. And then all of a sudden, my legal team will be so pleased that we're going to make $1 million. We're going to get a lot of YouTube clicks, a lot of comments. 60 Minutes Australia. We're talking top tier, you guys. We're talking the literal top tier of the corporate media that has never laid eyes inside of the hotel, that have never found what in the hell's going on for themselves. Stop being told. Breaking news, you guys. We really found out something. Every last shred of source they go to could not be more compromised. And the coverage speaks for itself, you guys, as if we're not literally auditing the MF media. As if we're not literally going line by line, contextualizing all manner of stuff that is, somehow never made it to, well, I don't know how to prove that. So yeah, Serge, we can't report anything we can't prove. Then get inside the hotel already. Use your critical thinking skills that you're supposed to have if you're an investigator. I mean, in what world do we have no investigators with critical thinking skills available? You guys, literally like, let's just all go to sleep. Let's just all be cozy, like sleepy, right? So there's a ton of enablers that have propped up what in the hell's going on inside of those hotels. There's a ton of people that have personally been implicated. So it's not just David Miscavige. Not just that one, you guys. Terry Cloth, David Miscavige isn't the only one. Terry Cloth bathrobe, as we learned yesterday. He really does love beating adults in terry cloth bathrobes. He'll just go crazy out of his mind like a chili jalapeno, just yelling, screaming, beating, locking up. But that's not the whole story. And they know it since they were there. And they know it since they were literal first-hand witnesses of everything. And they know it because they have the evidence. They literally have evidence of what in the hell they were doing in there. But somehow, nothing can be done. And yeah, let's all really work to really hope that one day, 16-year-olds that are actively being recruited, not just to the center, you guys. I did tell you the other day, oh yeah, we have a video now that they did grab a minor off the street to really sell her the book one. But they're not just up to that. They're also up to recruiting and literally employing these kids that, yes, every time I see them, I see myself. Every time I see them snubbing us, I understand exactly why. And it sucks to be them. It sucks for them to be under that much scrutiny because guess what? The young kids, these MFers have there on the front lines aren't the ones that deserve the scrutiny. The scrutiny are that legal officer that you guys can find on the community tabs from OSA, that little woman that also gave an interview to Chris. Imagine these influencers are running circles around the media, you guys. Yeah, never mind that she didn't say anything. She just looked relatable and weird as she was. But you have a full-grown adult woman who I'm sure she's new, you guys. I'm sure she's not one of Mike Rinder's proteges because I didn't recognize her at all. But I do know her type. And I do know why she's posted there. Because she's got to have what it takes to do that job. And she has already proven that she can do that job. Because that is how in the hell these hotels work. You don't get to the top of the pyramid scheme without proving on a weekly basis, you guys. This is not just like, oh, I got posted like a superior justice and now I'm just here for life. No one can take me off. No. There every week, every day you're under review. Sebastian, why in the hell has he disappeared? Why in the hell, you guys? Because he has proven that he's not doing his job. He has proven that this is creating a lot of problems for everybody. Sebastian is in ethics, you guys. Doing an ethics cycle. And Sebastian has had the opportunity to walk out of the hotels. Has had the opportunity to do what's right. And given how much attention is on Sebastian right now as we speak, because I've even heard the rhetoric like, oh yeah, Sebastian is, really worried and pressed about his visa. Well, first of all, why in the literal hell is there a visa sham going across the world, really bringing in all of these foreigners because we have no immigration officers willing to do their MF job, you guys? Or what type of influence is really being used by Scientology to, just get all manner of foreigners to really jump on a visa? Because perhaps even Sebastian, you guys, could stay in the US. I mean, that's not an excuse not to leave. But the point is, adults don't leave. Adults make decisions every day. They open their eyes in the morning and they close them at night. That is adulting. That is what in the hell is called being a literal adult, you guys. So yeah, I am personally sick of the whitewashing that, well, but they're all in a cult. Let's go cradle and canoodle them. So in what world can you really make Sebastian leave if we've already shown you with all the video evidence that they won't leave, that they won't walk out, that they're doing what in the hell they're doing in there because they're being enabled to do it. They're being sanctioned to do it. And already told you guys, I don't need a million reasons of why we can have those centers operating. The one thing I have told y'all is our literal beef. Now that we know the law, now that we have GTS real quick for ourselves, like false imprisonment. Scientology is audits. you guys. As much as everybody goes on and on and on about this and that, Scientology is audits. I would know. I was a motherfucking auditor at age 12. And I couldn't be more disgusted and nauseated that I spent my entire formative years dehumanizing others under the false pretense that I was really helping somebody. Because that's what in the hell doesn't make a shred of sense, you guys. In what world was I 12 years old being groomed with a doll to lock up an adult against their will inside of the hotel while I'm being video recorded with every last shred of executive, all full knowing what in the literal hell we were doing? This is not a tale of like, oh, Serge, you were such an unhinged sec checker. That must have just been you that was doing that weird stuff. If you weren't unhinged, if you weren't like that, your head was sliced. L. Ron Hubbard said, you can never, under any circumstances, you guys, miss a withhold. So imagine the amount of pressure. It wasn't just on myself, you guys. I wasn't the only child. The reason the scam and the sham worked is because there were other friends of mine, all underage, all minors, in Debbie Cook's hotel, really taking upon themselves to do these disgusting role plays. The ones L. Ron Hubbard pitched. The ones, not Mike Rinder, not Marty Rathbun, not David Miscavige. The ones L. Ron Hubbard pitched. So for those in the back that are still not understanding what in the literal hell, go and Google Auditor's Code. If you're saying, oh, but Serge, you're painting this with such a broad brushstroke, it must not have been that everybody was locked against their will. Well, go do y'all's research. You want to counteract that they're not? You want to say that it's a broad stroke to say all of them are like that? Well, then explain to me why the Auditor's Code said no PC can ever walk out of a session on their own determinism. Because that lands us right back to this First Amendment issue. And in what world are people that complete a 2-week course inside a hotel all of a sudden entitled to circumvent the useless, pathetic laws that the LAPD, with no critical thinking skills inside their brain for God knows what reason, because they're really pressed to not want to insult the belief. That's called zero due diligence. That's called playing dumb because it's convenient, and, you know, we all agree with that. I couldn't be sounding the MF alarm of what in the hell is being done in those audits, since that is what the hell I was made to do. That is what the hell I was made to train other adults to do this. And I couldn't be more disgusted. I couldn't be more nauseated that is what in the hell we were doing. Because the problem with Scientology is Scientology, you guys. As much as everybody goes, let's really find the problem, and it couldn't have been a brush stroke. Well, then tell me why all of these adults that we already told you guys cannot have any pushback. I mean, and I didn't just tell you guys. That's why we're auditing the media, because it's the statements that have been provided by the executives, including but not limited to, we had to do everything down to the T. Who told us that? Mike Rinder. So if you had to do everything down to the T, you couldn't change a shred of a thing, and people ended up locked against their will. Minors ended up locked against their will, you guys, because, again, I'm not here to tell whatever in the hell an adult wants to do with their lives. So yes, right now we only give a shred of care. We only have the bandwidth to think about those who have zero advocates inside of those hotels. The parents are not advocates. Our parents were putting us in clear and present danger. Danger they were very aware of. Danger that they got off on. Isn't that great, you guys? Oh yeah, I loved getting interrogated for 5 hours about disgusting sexual things. And here's my child. Why don't you, interrogate them? Because they're an adult. They're a Thetan. So brushstrokes AF for all Scientology parents, since none of them can claim they didn't follow L. Ron Hubbard. They didn't subject their kids to audits. I mean, unless there's a Scientology parent, you guys, that can really say, no, Serge, you got me totally twisted and wrong, because you know what I did as a parent? I said to my child, you cannot make a shred of a decision until you're 21. If you cannot drink, you cannot do what I do inside of that hotel. So once you turn 21, I'll show you the books. I'll show you what we do, and I'll let you do whatever in the hell you want to do. You're an adult. You want to do that? Do it. I love it. You might love it too. I think you will love it. And we have no case to make at that point, you guys. Zero case. Zero. All of a sudden, the First Amendment right would apply. Because are they consenting? Yes. Are they writing the consents? Yes. Are they paying? Yes. So in what world are these parents clueless about that? Because we would love to hear from the parents that don't want to be painted in broad strokes. Y'all aren't getting painted in broad strokes, and that's not why you're pressed. You're being confronted with the facts. And you're being literally told to go and defend them. Defend them. If I am out of my mind saying that there is no auditor's code and no one and anyone could have walked out wherever in the hell they wanted, by all means, let's hear it. Let's hear it for that type of pushback, you guys. Because if we're going to do pushback, then you better come with MF receipts. Don't come with your feelings and I really thought and you really hurt my feelings. I don't give a shred of an F about anyone's feelings. I don't give a shred of an F. Adult of an adult body that I am today, I couldn't care less. How many Scientology parents are insulted by being presented with the facts? So keep being insulted, keep crying, keep being babies, keep being infantile, as if you're not proving my point already. That all parents infantilize themselves and adulticize their kids. You want to tell me you were not an infantile parent? That's fine. Show me that you never exposed your kids to that rhetoric. Then, yeah, you're right. You're in the clear. You're in the clear almost, because if you went into these hotels and all of a sudden you were paying for other children that were being put there to service you, that's again something that none of these parents, you guys, can escape. None of them. Not one single parent that went into the Fort Harrison Hotel could escape being serviced by a minor, because minors were the receptionist of the hotel. Minors were the literal maids of the hotel. Minors were the cooks of the hotel. Minors were the dishwashers of the hotel. Minors were like in my case, the literal, my cousin, Jackie Rodriguez, married to Mike Rinder's son, was there at the hotel at the Lemon Tree, being used as a waitress at the Lemon Tree. From Mexico, brought, and then as a minor, under 16 Jackie was when she got recruited, you guys. That's how old she was when she got recruited. So all Scientology parents that really want to push back on this broad stroke BS, start defending yourselves already. Stop looking for who can I really tap to really push back on Surge without me having to face that scrutiny. Because by all means, they're all invited to, do a little MAA, right? AMA. Ask me anything. That's why we have this YouTube platform that is making a difference, you guys, because transparency is required. So if you want to push back that you didn't do that, then do an Ask Me Anything. And then actually, with a straight face, pitch how, let's put it so simple, you guys, so that there is literally no misunderstandings anymore. Literally this. So defend false imprisonment. Defend minors being used to service you as an adult inside of a hotel, all full knowing, and then defend passports being locked up. So here's our 3 things, you guys. Nothing else to defend. Scientology parents, just false imprisonment, why minors were servicing you inside of a hotel, and why our passports were under lock and key. See how this is so easy, you guys? Literally, if any Scientology parent doesn't want to be painted with a shred of broad stroke, then please advise. Was there an auditor's code? Yes or no? Were we required to be locked against our will according to so-called auditor's code that an indicted convicted felon wrote for himself? Because you know what? That'd be great to also contextualize. Defend your source. As if they weren't even calling him source, you guys. Literally do what source says. Apply L. Ron Hubbard. Do what source says. If source said no, if source said yes, well, you know what? Go to your little source right now, Scientology parents, and literally tell us if we couldn't walk out of a hotel room where we were being video recorded, interrogated with disgusting questions, our entire privacy shredded to nothing, our entire agency compromised AF, with our parents full knowing, paying. In my case, not in Sterling's case, you guys, because his parents never paid because he was already in the Sea Org. But in my case, my parents paying for me to be locked up, starting at age 12, you guys. Again, I already told you. You're 21 and up, do whatever in the hell you want. I don't give a shred of an F, but paying to be in that condition. Number 2, why were minors being used? Why were minors being implicated in working 100-hour weeks and being told that they really were volunteers while their passport was locked up? As if all Scientology executives don't know this, you guys. Because that would be a great little AMA to really set up for themselves and really tell you all why passports of minors were kept under lock and key. That's what Debbie Cook was doing. That's what she did to all of us. No one was exempted. Because again, going back to the policy, you guys, I already told you, there is no plausible deniability. There is no, we didn't do that ourselves. That is how those hotels are run, you guys. So if you're being told that, but there can be a lot of nuance and there could be a lot of million ways it could all go. Well, sure. Tell us how it could go in a million ways. Because Don't tell us that it could go in a million ways if you were at the Fort Harrison under Debbie Cook's hotel. She ran that ship tight, you guys. That's why they loved her, because she was tight AF. She cracked the whip. She was unhinged. She controlled everything, micromanaged everything, made sure that all policies of L. Ron Hubbard were applied to the letter. She didn't give a shred of a clue. If L. Ron Hubbard said it, she could do it. She could whatever. So, yes, this conversation is being opened from a David Miscavige problem only to all Scientology parents being implicated. And if you don't want to be implicated, if you want to be exempted, then tell us if you are exempt from these three things. Did you ever subject your kids to sessions? And if so, why couldn't they walk out if shit was going awry? Why? Yeah. And it couldn't be more dangerous, the grooming, you guys, because, yeah, when they start you at age 12, when you're a third generation Scientologist. So for all of you that want to say, oh, yeah, Serge, you and Mike Rinder couldn't be just the same. I'm a third generation Scientologist. Mike Rinder is my father's age. So knock off the false equivalent. I am not Mike Rinder. I am not Mike Rinder's age. I arrived into the Sea Org as a pawn at the bottom of the barrel of the scheme, because as much as you're going to hear, oh yeah, Flag was so great, Flag was so wonderful, and it couldn't be more elite. Lucky for us, you guys, there's an org board that L. Ron Hubbard put for himself. An org board that Mike Rinder, Marty Rathbun, and Dave really worked to really put it, oh, okay, so you're here, and you're here, and you're here, and you're here, and this is your status, and this is your rank, and you're very senior, and you're very superior, and you have this much oversight because you really have shown us that level of commitment is how in the hell they would promote you to those levels, you guys. You didn't get to the top levels to do that shit if you didn't prove yourself. So again, for the people that really want to say, you, Serge, you and Mike Rinder couldn't have been the same, OSA is here, okay? FSO is literally at the very bottom of this barrel right there. I was a literal cog in an MF wheel. And I couldn't have been more disgusted. Yes, you guys, I made these people $100K a week as a minor. Please, by all means, Scientology parents, add that to your AMA. In what literal world can a minor be making, including but not limited to up to $100,000 for a corporation, Mike Rinder? Because that would be great for you to start explaining. Don't just blame it on Dave. You were the chief spokesperson, so I'm sure you could really come up with a pitch on how that really makes sense and how that's just not just David's idea. And again, you guys, it's not just, people really want to defend one person here, one person there. Debbie Cook was the one that did this all. Now, Mike Rinder, if you were not implicated, consulted, or had anything to do with Monique Yingling and the sham 501c that was propped up, if it was just Marty and Dave, then you know what? Stand corrected. Correct the record. But, so far what we find from your own admissions is that you were quite the legal mastermind. In what world? I have no idea, because you have no legal background. But you certainly know a lot more than I did when I was a child there. You certainly did have outward-facing interactions with the world that you have already put on the public record for yourself. Talking to top-tier PR companies, who I'm assuming mentored you, top tier attorneys that you did deal with as the watchdog of this place. So the bullshit false equivalent could not be more bullshit. I was a cog in a wheel at the bottom of this disgusting barrel filled with other kids that were there with me, you guys, that I am speaking on behalf of, because they were also cogs in an MF wheel. They were also kids trafficked from other countries. They were also very brilliant kids that were very, very cute, that follow orders very, very well, and that did these audits exactly how we were told to do them. So it'd be great for Scientology parents, all of you, if you don't want to be in a broad stroke, then make a case for yourselves already and tell everyone why you are so different, what makes you so different, how you didn't follow L. Ron Hubbard, how you did apply all your critical thinking skills when you were stuck. The urgency of this message reverberates, imploring survivors to not relent in their pursuit of justice and accountability. It condemns the power dynamics that allowed abuse to flourish in the past. And it demands an immediate and resolute commitment to dismantling the structures that perpetuate these horrors. Horrors. I mean, you guys, in what world are someone like Bianca, someone like Laura, someone like Miriam Francis, someone like all the kids discussing the most unthinkable abusive power dynamics? That again, by all means, Scientology parents, let's add another specific so we don't brush stroke anything tonight, you guys. Literally another little brush stroke to really narrow it down, Scientology parents. Why were kids being interrogated? And why were they being asked sexualized questions? And how in the hell was that helpful for them? Please start telling us, start pitching how we were being helped by y'all. In essence, this scathing and urgent appeal stands as a defiant challenge to the whitewashing of systemic child abuse, pressing for swift and unyielding accountability. And it serves as a clarion call for survivors to seize the power and demand the justice that has been denied for far too long, with a fervent plea for the protection of children from the ongoing cycle of trauma that is still alive and well inside of these hotels, as the facts remained denied and there's not a shred of guardrails instituted to end the cycle of abuse that has been normalized, in my case, for 3 generations. Imagine Debbie Cook used my literal grandmother to lure me into the hotel. So in my case, it was my grandparents being implicated, my parents being implicated, almost every one of my aunts and uncles, except for one, the one that was smart, successful, driven, had money, had education, and she was like, no, this shit is insane. I'm getting out. And then she was made the black sheep of the family. And then she literally ended up offing herself, you guys. My aunt Conchis ended up literally there. So, yeah. Am I upset that all of these disgusting things have happened, and the common thread to all of it is L. Ron Hubbard? I would have nothing to talk about here if it wasn't for L. Ron Hubbard, guys, right? I literally would have no life to discuss with you guys in these terms. And in what world are any of us left carrying this disgusting weight that we didn't ask for? We literally did not ask for this weight. And neither did that 16-year-old that I just saw inside of that testing center. Did she ask for the weight of what in the hell's being done to her? I would say no. I would know. I now know I didn't ask for it. I now know that when I was 12 years old, I didn't have a shred of a clue what I was doing. I acted like I did, you guys, just like these guys at the center. Oh yeah, we really do grab the phone and type stuff, and we're adults, we're thetans, we're so much superior than everybody. That is what's so disgusting. That the adults would play that type of joke on kids at the kids' expense. That the kids are left stuck with the bill of all the abuse that is literally uncalled for. There are no boundaries inside of those hotels when all kids were being treated like adults. And if you don't have the brain power to put that together for yourself, then we cannot help you. We literally cannot help you. We're not here to convince anyone of anything, you guys. We're literally talking common sense is what in the hell is missing. So as much as we're being told that we're asking too much and we're doing too much and brush strokes everywhere, you, Sterling, answer how audits were not false imprisonment then. You answer that yourself. Put a community tab. Don't even do a video. Just literally put it on a community tab. Serge is out of his mind. No one was false imprisoned. And everyone's having a jolly old time in the hotel. And, you know, we can all really wait outside with a real smile, waiting for people to leave, as if that's even a thing. As if you really can lure these people out of there by smiling and being nice to them. When they're being aided and abetted, when they're being enabled, when they're being cradled and canoodled, when they're being told, believe whatever in the hell you want, you know, then find out later that maybe it wasn't a great idea, and then just play dumb when you do find out, because I'm sure playing dumb is really changing a lot. Playing dumb is convenient AF. Playing dumb is, anybody can play dumb. Oops, I did go to that hotel when I was 26, and oops, I did leave when I was 40, because you know what? It did get real bad for me. Because that's all the things that end up coming up for these adults. It was really, really great. I was winning. I was doing great. And then I wasn't. And then I left. And then I'm not traumatized, because you know what? When you are, I mean, literally, you guys, when you are the slave owner, what's there to be traumatized about? Love to hear that. Would love to hear how, you know, we really need to cradle and canoodle all adults that took it upon themselves to become self-entitled slave owners. Just because L. Ron Hubbard told you to, what? That's your defense? L. Ron Hubbard told me. Charles Manson also told his followers to commit felonies for a good cause. Helter Skelter was going to really do something, and it was all just an MF delusion. And you know who else? Adolf Hitler, who did take it upon himself to tell all Germans, oh my God, we're so much better, you guys. We're so superior here. We really know what in the hell we're doing. We're so much better than everyone else. Exterminate everyone else. Everyone else is just gross. Like, it's called dehumanizing. Dehumanizing. So another thing for the Scientology parents to explain for themselves, you guys. In what world were you not dehumanizing, not yourselves? Because we don't give a shred of an F, but kids. In what world were you not dehumanizing kids by applying L. Ron Hubbard? By doing what in the hell said in the book? By following that blindly like a complete and utter infantile whatever in the hell you are? In what world can people really enter a hotel and then all of a sudden have no critical thinking skills for themselves as adults? Because that would be great to understand too. That would be really, really great to understand how it can be blamed, because you know what? You are in a cult is a whitewash line. Oh, I was brainwashed. Oh, I was this. Okay, you guys, well, you know what? Let's just go around prison and go, oh, hi. We wanted to really interview you. Were you brainwashed before you committed any felonies? Oh, you were. Oh, okay, guards. Come, open this jail. He was brainwashed. Let him out. Okay, let's go to the next one. Were you brainwashed? Oh, another one here. Everyone in prison is brainwashed. Oh, everyone gets an amnesty because you didn't know what in the hell you were doing. Yay. That's not how it works. Scientology parents, unfortunately for y'all. Unfortunately. And more unfortunate for the kids that are in your care. And more unfortunately for the kids that are stuck in the hotel as we speak, you guys, this problem is here. This problem didn't end in our childhoods and let's really go and have a great life and enjoy everything. No, part of trauma recovery is knowing that the disgusting abuse that was perpetrated on you isn't just being done willy-nilly to other kids, because no one inside of the MF hotels ever raised a shred of concern good enough to stop a shred of thing. I don't care all the Scientology, oh, but I did read a KR search once upon a time. I did. Please. All kids were implicated. All kids were subjected to the courses, to the audits, and to the ethics of L. Ron Hubbard. 3 things that Scientology is. Did you do courses as a child? Yes or no? Did you get audited as a child? Yes or no? Did you get ethics handlings as a child? Yes or no? And Scientology parents, literally in this year, 2024, maybe in all the other years, you could really play dumb, you could really play confused because no one knew. And yet the devil is in the MF details. And the details that we would know as kids, being that we were adulticized, being that we were put to do adult roles starting at age 12, is that exact devil that I just described in our 3 things: false imprisonment, using of minors inside the hotel with every Scientology executive full knowing, with every Scientology parent full knowing. Even, oh, Serge, but I was never in the searing. I was a public. I don't give a shred of an F. You were a donor. They are all enabling the most disgusting, abominable, indefensible power dynamics. Because yet again, you guys, and I know so much of you guys are parents for yourselves. Going back to the dehumanizing pitches of L. Ron Hubbard. If a parent relinquished their parental common sense, replaced it with L. Ron Hubbard to really purport that whatever in the hell that indicted convicted felon pitched was going to be good once they did it. Because again, the pitch from L. Ron Hubbard included but wasn't limited to false imprisonment. Indefinite false imprisonment in a room. You even heard it from Bianca. You could be there for 5 hours. You could be there for 4 hours. You could be there for 15 hours. Kids didn't know how to get out, you guys. Unless you had studied L. Ron Hubbard like myself and you could manipulate the adults, which I tried doing. I mean, it didn't always work, you guys, because again, it's a system of utter nonsense. It's a system of the rules of engagement couldn't be more perverse, disgusting, and the power dynamics indefensible AF. So yeah, when I was locked up with Marty Rathbun, I was stuck with Marty Rathbun until Marty Rathbun was done with me. And I'm glad that you, Sterling, didn't have that experience for yourself. I'm glad Marty Rathbun never had his way with you. Given that you were Biddy Miscavige's son, and given that you were always in your own privileged position. I didn't have a shred of privilege inside of those hotels. Unlucky for me. So lucky for you. I wouldn't wish what happened to me on anyone else. I literally would not wish that on my worst enemy. You guys, literally would not wish anything that I went through in that disgusting hotel on anyone, much less a child. Much, much, much less a child. And given that we do know that they're still there, the children, given that we do have our own eyeballs, our own firsthand experience, full knowing. So why is it so acceptable? Why is it all so whitewashed? That's the question that we're asking. So this is to set the matter and the record straight. Sterling, address me if you must, but don't try and camouflage the narrative. There's simply no need for that. I, starting at age 12, being trained to audit adults, along with hundreds of other kids that today have no voice. You were not in Debbie Cook's hotel, Sterling. You were in California having your own situationship. So you can put on the public record however in the hell you were treated. If you have no childhood trauma for yourself, wonderful. We think that's great. If you've recovered from everything and you're having a jolly old time, happy-go-lucky, wonderful. Only the utterly suffocating silence of I started at age 12 being trained as to audit adults, along with hundreds of other kids that today have no voice. Only the utterly suffocating silence of knowing no one was coming to get us. No one was coming to stop the abuse. There was no escape. We endured a childhood where the brutal truth was, and still is, that no one was coming to rescue us. Countless voices of fellow survivors have echoed the same haunting silence, a symphony of despair, as we were subjected to unimaginable abuse by the so-called adults wearing fake military uniforms that were part of those wretched walls. If you had the privilege of not having a childhood where you experienced such horror, count your blessings. Instead of displaying your privilege, I wouldn't wish this twisted nightmare I lived and the stories shared by me and countless abused kids on anyone. If my truth offends you, take my unapologetic stance as it is. I don't need your approval. The silence of knowing no one is coming to get you echoes through my being, a relentless reminder of the atrocities committed against innocent children left to suffer in the name of some perverse doctrine that dictates and normalizes the abuse of innocent kids who cannot consent to what they're being exposed to. So if kids can consent, by all means, Sterling, make the case already. Make it for yourself. Because you keep saying such broad strokes. You know what? It's not a broad stroke. I'm literally saying kids cannot consent. So in what world is that not true? Can kids consent? Because kids not consenting is not my opinion. Kids can consenting is literally common sense. Common sense that no Scientology parent apparently had for themselves. As they implicated themselves, as they bought the pitches, as they signed every contract, as they brainwashed themselves to believe whatever in the hell they wanted. We have been terrorized our whole lives, so we would not sound the alarm. We are sounding the alarm. And we don't give a shred of an F who tells us to not sound the alarm. Every child in those cursed hotels faced the same grim fate, following the perverse norms set by parents who betrayed their most sacred duty. So go ahead, critique me, pick at the wounds of the kids who did suffer, by your own admission, a lot worse abuse. Just know that your opinion means nothing to me. We, the children, without executive parents, don't owe a damn thing to those who orchestrated our torment. They owe us the unvarnished truth. And they owe us accountability. The fact that your parents have had the privilege of turning a blind eye and come to your rescue is for you to process. But breaking news, majority of the kids trapped in those hell hotels didn't have executive parents with the power to make things right, especially to what we were being exposed at the Clearwater Hotel in Florida. place that apparently you were never a staff member in. Our childhoods were stolen. And I want to apologize for tearing through the layers of deceit. Where is the public condemnation from those parents who willingly participated in the unspeakable horrors within those walls? Where is it, you guys? Where is it literally? And why do the abused kids that did survive, that did live to tell, are the ones here having to question the public record decades into a nightmare that remains uncorrected? We are questioning the public record, you guys. We are allowed to question what's been put on the public record. That is called exercising your First Amendment right. We can go, oh my God, look at this newspaper, you guys. Look at what it says here. Look at what it says here. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. I'm not coming here, blah, blah. I grab what doesn't make sense and I state my opinion. I grab what doesn't make sense and I state my opinion. I grab what it doesn't make sense and I state my MF opinion. And if you have a problem with that, then that is your problem for you to resolve in whatever in the hell way you want. I could literally care less. Decades into a nightmare that remains uncorrected. That is not my hyperbolized opinion as you have characterized it. That is a fact. And if you want to say that that is not a fact, by all means, pitch what's not a fact about it. Pitch how that 16-year-old that is stuck in that building, well, 18-year-old that was 16 when she got there, how she is, you know, her parents have no responsibility because she did want to join when she was 16 and, you know, God knows where in the hell she comes from. Does she come from another state? Does she come from another country? Is her passport locked up? Because all of those movements, we're not even getting to the labor stuff, all of the movements of how the kids were acquired, how their passports were locked up, is what constitutes trafficking. So go get yourself a little Google and start really getting familiar with what in the hell we're talking about. So if you have pushback, then at least push back with something that makes a shred of sense. If you want to contradict, go ahead and defend that there are guardrails that you claim are in place that I'm failing to contextualize. We are not just entitled to ask these questions, we are demanding answers that do make a shred of sense in the aftermath of these horrors, of which all adults were privy and willing co-conspirators to. Sometimes the hard thing to do is the only right thing. I can't expect you to fathom the depths of despair when these high-ranking executives were your guardians inside those walls. So don't presume to fully comprehend my plight or that of the countless abuse kids that I do speak for. And that's the case, you guys. Like, plenty of kids that I'm in touch with on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, that didn't have good childhoods in there, that weren't protected by anybody, that nobody gave a shred of an F, that they were treated like second-class citizens and slaves. And kids didn't end up at the hotel because they really wanted to hear what L. Ron Hubbard had to say. I've yet to speak to a shred of child that has said that, you guys, and I've spoken to a lot of them, and nobody says, I loved it in there, it was great, and it was amazing. The truth is not neutral, it's damning. Don't deflect blame onto me just because your childhood with a powerful mom was different from mine. You basked in a different light, and that's okay to acknowledge. All kids were not just treated differently. We were systemically brutalized, whether inside those hotel rooms where the abuse was being video recorded by a racketeering organization, sham 501c, where powerful adults entitled themselves to prey on the most vulnerable under the guise that a convicted, indicted felon said so. And yet again, Scientology parents that don't want to be, really portrayed in that light, then defend or contradict that L. Ron Hubbard was not a convicted, indicted felon. Do y'all's research. Do it. And yes, we encourage all Scientology parents to really come up and tell us that L. Ron Hubbard is not a convicted, indicted felon, and that L. Ron Hubbard did have a lot of great ideas. Because the fact that you haven't repudiated that stupidity is the only reason you haven't made a shred of progress in remedying a problem you are all purporting it doesn't exist. You can linger within your own boundaries, and I will remain steadfast in mine. Your escape spared you of the horrors I endured, and while you may not fully grasp the torment that I have overcome, the torment that allows me to not stay silent. So as the echoes of our shared pain continue to reverberate in time for all of these adults that need to grow a literal vertebrae. For in the shadows deep where the silent thrives, a tale untold of shattered lives that were ruined with dangerous as fuck lies. Executives privilege a deadly blight. Why don't you go and ask your mother, Elizabeth Blight? She was there and would know a thing or two about my literal plight. Children weep in the silence profound in these hotels where abuse is crowned. No apologies for tearing through deceit. The truth demands to be on repeat. And contrary to what you said, we do have MF receipts. Through torment and through endless nights, we rise, we fight, and we finally reclaim our light. In verse, we carve our scathing tale. Our requiem of innocence is what we unveil. You can linger within your boundaries, and I will remain steadfast in mine. We don't need your approval. Of that, you can rest assured. But don't come here and tell me that I don't know the type of pain all of us children have endured. So that is the answer to the whitewashing. That is my answer to me being told that I'm painting everyone with a real broad stroke. Well, you know what, guys? We did remedy that. Going back to the point of, sure, you want to say it isn't so, then bring receipts. You want to say that the points that we're making couldn't be more delusional and hyperbolic, by all means, bring the receipts that prove there was no false imprisonment in the hotels. There were no minors being used, and there were no passports being locked up. And we're just keeping it at that, you guys. Like literally, like let's not even give them more things, because the list is long. And the fact that the list is so long really speaks to the problems, the systemic, institutionalized problems that those hotels are facing, that every single adult implicating themselves in this wide-ranging racketeering scheme. So Google that for yourself. If I'm being hyperbolic by calling it racketeering, then go ahead and clear the word racketeering. Clear it. Clear it in the dictionary. See what it says. See what a conspiracy is. See what it means to literally plan and organize breaking laws, or defend that laws were not being broken, that everybody was having a jolly old time, that things couldn't have been more wonderful, and that, just some people like me are having a, really hard time and really wanting to go after everybody, and aren't I such a ogre, an SP, and really gonna scare everyone that wants to leave the hotel. Well, you know what? We could have different purposes. You want to help everyone out of the hotel. I want to help all 21 and under out of the hotel. You can sit there and wait for all of them to really come to their senses and really want to come to you because you're so nice and smiling at all of them, and come to us and tell us how many have really responded to your message of kumbaya. Truly, how many of them really respond when you just go kumbaya, kumbaya, everything's great. You were just in a cult, everything's wonderful. There's nothing to take responsibility for. There's nothing to take accountability for. Well, you know what? That is a problem, because nothing changes if nothing literally changes. So whoever has a problem with these points being made, fine, have a problem, but then bring arguments. Don't just literally do what in the hell you did that said that, oh yeah, I'm not really just going after Serge, as if you didn't even mention me in the video. So that's not going to get us anywhere. That is not going to help a shred of child inside of there. You have your way of advocating. No one is telling you how to advocate for yourself. I have not told a single second, third, or child what they should or should not say. Literally, I've told the executives, I've told Mike Rinder, I've told Marty Rathbun, I've told Debbie Cook. I've named names because I was there. I've named names because I know what I know. I saw what I saw. So if you didn't see a shred of a thing, that's because you were doing some administrative work in whatever the hell capacity you were being used inside of that hotel. And if that didn't traumatize you and you had a jolly old time, well, you know what? Great. No one's begrudging you that. You got a ton of people that really love and are all in for it, for the fun and the little, yeah, it's fine. You know, no one cares that that's a thing. No one cares. So you can have your truth. You can have your life. No one's interfering with it. Go and live it. Go and live it. Have fun. Do whatever in the hell you want. Be free. You're free. Enjoy it. Look, no one's begrudging you that, oh my God, I wish Sterling would have suffered like me and me had a wonderful executive parent that was really going to help me to not end up what I did end up. And ask your brother Justin, because he was there at the RPF. And ask him if there were no self-admitted PEDOS in there. Because none of us that were minors there deserved it. We were being kept there for years indefinitely. I was there for 2 years. Literally 2 years of my life, locked up against my will with a twin that was a self-admitted. So glad you never ended up in the RPF. Glad you had a jolly old time and, you know, you had your trouble here and your trouble there, but, you know, you sorted it all out. Great. That makes you the exception, because most of the other kids I've ever spoken to are the rule of the abuse, the rule of the dysfunction, the rule of the depravities, the rule of being literally treated like worse than anything, you guys. Like, again, like Laura ending up in a cockroach infested hotel, the QI being what it was, all the things that were normalized by the adults that did have the money to improve situations, by the adults that could have made different decisions. And yes, I empathize that you want everyone to get along and everybody just get over everything, but that is not your place to be telling people to get over stuff when you were not even there yourself. And you're speaking from a position of privilege, apparently completely unaware that that is literally what it's giving. It's giving, I had a great time. It's giving, I'm doing great. Well, great. Then whatever. But lots of kids are not having a jolly old time, guys. Lots of kids are being locked up against their will, being used as literal minors to work at the hotel. And I've already brought up the example of my cousin Jackie Rodriguez, who's still there. My cousin Brenda Gonzalez, who's still there. My cousin David Gonzalez is still there. All acquired underage. By Debbie Cook, 2 of them, and by Lori Englehart, the captain of the hotel. Someone I haven't even spoken about yet, you guys, because they had 2 captains, as I said before. One handles all hotel duties. One handles all so-called audits and technical, what we deliver at the friendliest place on earth. The friendliest place on earth for adults was not the friendliest place on earth for kids. Not great, you guys? That something that was literally pitched. I mean, that's not my pitch, you guys. Literally, Debbie Cook, come to Flag, the friendliest place on earth. Then all of a sudden, people were happy. Yay, let's do courses. Let's get audited. Let's really tell them what type of felonies we committed that we can really quickly launder for profit. For profit is how we were laundering those felonies, you guys. For profit. They paid. You couldn't go in session without an invoice. God forbid if you were caught delivering free service. L. Ron Hubbard called it free service, free fall. So nothing could be done for free. Nothing. And the questions were written up for us. For us. Like literally ask them, have you committed a felony for which you have not been arrested? In what world were we supposed to know that we had no shred of capacity to be asking those questions as kids? And given that there's wonderful, smart, intelligent, underage kids in there, you guys, that have been groomed by their parents, I would have never arrived at the hotel without my parents. I didn't choose it. I didn't want it. I never consented. And that is a fact. That is not something that we can, well, your parents did do. No. Had I have anything I've done after 21 is on me. Anything that happened before that is on them. Or 18 even. I don't give a shred of an F. Even 18. But, they were acquiring us before 18, some of us. So that's what I wanted to say about that, you guys, because no one said it would be easy, like the song says, right? No one said it would be easy, but no one said it would be this hard. But it's not hard, you guys. It's not hard when you know the facts. It's not hard when you can bring receipts. It's not hard when you can advocate from the heart and speak to a problem that we would know exists. And again, not because we wanted to have skin in the game, because we had no shred of choice. No shred of choice. So let's go and see some of your comments and super chats. Chemist, Sterling doesn't speak for children. Yeah. Well, he speaks for children in the way he wants to speak for children, you guys. And again, no one's controlling your narrative, Sterling. Speak in whatever way you want for whatever issue you want to speak to. You can do that. Chemist, we are listening, Serge. Thank you, Chemist. Well, that means a lot, you guys. That means a lot. And that is, again, what's giving us the oxygen. Because what has not happened before is being listened to. Our parents never listened to us. The police never listened to us. So nobody's been caring. And it's not like we just decided to start speaking about this or start dealing with this problem. You guys, this has been a very long-winded, hard journey. Hard AF. The reason we're speaking out now, some of us, and all the other kids that I do speak for, you guys. So I don't claim to speak for you, Sterling. I am claiming to speak for every single last kid who cannot be named, who doesn't have the strength to speak to these issues, you guys. But we don't need 100 people speaking of the issue if they're not ready. That is part of the trauma recovery. I would know. I would never be able to be here speaking like this the day that I left this hotel, the amount of trauma you have to process, the amount of betrayal blindness that you have to become aware of. Betrayal blindness that develops as a result of you wanting to see your parents in this rosy light, to really, fantasize about having a life that could have been better. But you just realize you're just being blind to the facts, and nobody benefits then. You don't benefit. Our perpetrators don't benefit, you guys. Like, in what world will they ever end the nonsense? The day that L. Ron Hubbard is confronted as a convicted, indicted felon that he is. The day that all of these parents really have a second thought about being associated, implicated donors of a sham 501c. That is the day where, oh, you know what? You'll see them all running in droves. And all that would have to happen is every last shred of underage minor being removed off of those premises. Where again, the point is, kids cannot consent. So any Scientology parent that feels attacked or being painted in a brushstroke, you make your video and you tell all the community why kids can consent. Because listening is such an important part of this recovery road. And listening is what is bringing up awareness to the problems that have been whitewashed. And who benefits when that is whitewashed? The parents or the kids that are still stuck in there? Because I'm going to go with B. You guys let me know. Is it A or B? Is it the parents or the kids? Chemist. Brainwashing doesn't mean you are absolved from accountability, responsibility, or personal agency. So stop is disgusting. That's right, you guys. It's, and again, this subject of Scientology has been such a pop culture discussion that's been around for decades, right? Like, oh, this, that. And again, brainwashing is just a term. Brainwashing is just a literal term. It doesn't mean anything on its own, because yet again, to investigate and find out about situationships, you have to, and we're going to cite L. Ron Hubbard, you guys. I'm going to give you a datum that L. Ron Hubbard said that all Scientology parents will be very, very aware of. So let's make sure we give it to them so they really know what in the hell we're talking about. And it's called look, don't listen. Okay? So let's really look. Let's all teleport ourselves to Florida. Let's all really stand outside the Fort Harrison Hotel and just look. And then let's really open the door to the Fort Harrison and start climbing up the stairs that are right there as you enter the lobby, you guys. I know this hotel like the back of my MF hand. If only I didn't spend like a decade plus stuck in that hotel. So then you really go up the lobby and you go to the right and there's reception. Oh, hi. Welcome to Flag. Oh, yay. You're going to stay here 3 months. Wonderful. That is only going to be $54,000 for your accommodations. You're going to love it here at Flag. We're going to take really good care of you. If you want room service, we will have, Serge's cousin, Jackie, that is now, in her 30s, right? So she's not a full-grown adult with Arrested Development AF, because she's never known anything outside the 4 walls of that literal restaurant. And I would know what that lemon tree looked like, you guys. It was just like this little long thing at the beginning of the Fort Harrison Hotel. So just before you get up the stairs, if you go to the right, it's right there. Lemon tree. So yeah, we'll give you room service, whatever you need, so that you really are comfortable here. So those are the facts. That is what it is. We would know. We were there for way too long and for time that we didn't want to even be there. So brainwashing was not an excuse for Nazi Germany or the Manson murders. It doesn't hold up in a court of law, let alone morally. I mean, you guys, that is the point. That is the point. Now, can we all empathize for how hard it is for you to really come to grips with that? You know, because the cognitive dissonance is real. Is very, very real, you guys. Like the cognitive dissonance is rampant, really, because that's what L. Ron Hubbard creates in these people. So yeah, we can hold those two things, you know, at once and understand that it really does suck that everybody gets lured. It really does suck that, you know, as you guys saw in my live yesterday, New York Times bestseller, New York Times bestseller, this book is great, this book is great, and it all looks so innocent. But let's not forget, you guys, the devil is in the details, not in the false, sanitized BS pitch about how everything's going to be so kumbaya inside of this hotel. Everything's going to be great as they false imprison you, as they expose you to minors that are slaves inside of the hotel, working, and as your passport is locked up. Helicopter, no more kids in Scientology. Yes, yes, yes. Simple. No more. Everyone 21 and up out of those MF hotels. I mean, that is the type of rescuing that we needed, you guys, when we were stuck there as minors. We would have needed an outside force, an outside intervention that said, hey, how many kids are 21 and up? Out. Out. Nope, you can't be here. Bye-bye. All on, just get on a bus, take them all. Now you come here. You're the parent, come here. Let's really look at the paperwork. Let's really look at what you signed. And then let's really actually confront what you have fully consented as an adult to do to your child. Because that's when we're going to get the accountability. That's when we're going to get parents going, whoopsie doopsies. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea after all. Why did I do this? Why did L. Ron Hubbard? Oh God, the remorse cannot come afterwards. The remorse has to be real. The remorse can only be achieved by actually confronting what in the literal hell they've done. And yes, you guys, I think I'm being fair by broad stroking all of them and not just saying it was Mike Rinder, Pedro Gil, every last parent that implicated their kids. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now, yes, all of you have specific things that you've done. That's right. Maybe not all of you paid for your kid to be an auditor at 12. That's between me and my dad. Maybe not all of you got stuck at the hole of the RPF with a disgusting, you know what in the hell we mean. That's between me and Debbie Cook. And every last child has their own situationship with their parents. And you can speak to that yourself. And every kid is speaking to that themselves. And every kid is being encouraged to have that power, to feel that power that was taken away from us, given that we didn't have a shred of consent. We've been falsely co-opted into this disgusting hotel operation dysfunction that literally deserves no more kids in Scientology whatsoever. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. And Alicia Medley, no more kids in Scientology. I mean, you guys, I love that you really understand that message. And I love that you are not questioning that message or whitewashing it, because it doesn't need to be whitewashed. It doesn't need sanitizing of anything. We're all adults. We're all here on the flip side, and every single one of you is an advocate for these kids. Every single one of you that does become aware of what in the hell is going on has that humanity in you to be like, yeah, you know what? That's not cool. Like, we do have to protect kids. They don't have the level of discernment or critical thinking skills to be exposed to these extreme, disgusting role plays that, again, all Scientology parents are invited to defend and tell us why we were being helped when we were being abused. Because right now, you know, I'm open, have an open mind, open my mind, but stupid we're not. Just FYI. So don't try a fake pitch. Don't try blah blah blah, because that's not gonna make a shred of difference. Atkin in Texas. Oh, shout out Atkin. I grew up in Texas, kind of by the border, before I got abducted to the hotel. So I do love Texas, and I feel that Texans people really get it, you guys. I don't think that Austin org is gonna do real well. And the more we spread the awareness in Texas as to what in the hell they're doing, the harder it'll be for them to, you know, grab minors out of the university, guys, as if they didn't literally set up Austin org close to the university so they could get young, gullible, naive minors or under 18 or maybe 21 at the university. Maybe the age is a little bit larger there, but again, they that's where they told us when I was there that they were going to make it. They were going to get it close to Austin. So thank you so much, Atkins. I really appreciate it. And chemists, Scientology apologetics have no place while kids are still in. Yes, you guys. The apologetics, couldn't agree with you more, chemists. The apologetics are a distraction and are a disservice, not only to the, you know, kids that have left and have lived to tell, because it's a disservice to continue to be gaslit and told, couldn't have been more legal. You really should get over it. You really should figure it out. No, because the disservice comes to the kids stuck at the hotel with that same powerlessness that we would know we had as we were being yelled at, screamed at by executives, blamed for 9/11, as if that didn't even come up also on Bianca's interview with Kelly, you guys. Blamed for 9/11. We were blamed for literally 9/11 happening. You guys are not clearing the planet fast enough. Like, COB is real pissed that you're not doing your job, that you're not getting the statistics, that you're not making the money quotas that we're making you do. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Nothing was ever enough for these executives, you guys. And it would be great for them to really tell us how that was working. Because DM, love Surge, love what you're doing. Sorry you had to grow up in this horrible cult. Thank you, DM. I really appreciate it. And I love that you guys are supporting me, and that means the world. Perils, Pappy, Power Surge. No kids in Scientology. Thank you, Pearl Snappy. I know you guys came up with a hashtag yesterday, and it was funny. Power Surge. We need an electrical volt, you guys. Thank you for your super chat, Pearl Snappy. Chemist, Serge, do you know you can speak or just not about your own experience or against any executives? Duh. Don't you know you can speak out, not just about your own experience or against executives? Duh. Well, that's right, chemists. We did check for ourselves, you guys, that the Constitution, First Amendment does apply. You know, we were even scared, you guys, to go into any protest. Like, you know, I was talking to that Anon kid that was there the first day, that he's literally like hiding his face because he's scared that his family's gonna discover him. And we were talking about, how that basic right of speaking was taken from us at such a young age. And it's actually triggering to protest, and can see how other kids can also get triggered, you guys, by our message, but our message is to expose the facts. Our message is not to, figure out how to speak about it so that, people in there maybe one day do reach a video and then they see that, we're not really that. I don't care. I don't give a shred of an F who sees our videos, because mostly what I get, you guys, is kids seeing our videos and saying, "Oh my God, thank you, Serge. Oh my God, no one said it like that before." And their pain has not been acknowledged. Their pain has been whitewashed. They've been told they deserved it their whole life. They've been told they pulled it in their whole life. They've been told that whatever happened to them could have not been more legal if David Miscavige, Marty Rathbun, and Mike Rinder didn't dig up L. Ron Hubbard out of his grave to prop up this 501c. Because yes, it took those three amigos and more, which I'm sure we're going to get into as we continue to audit the media, guys. I'm sure that those facts are going to get exposed. Who was masterminding the false pitches being put together? And again, neither Mike Rinder nor David Miscavige nor Marty Rathbun had neither the educational level to put these pitches together to literally make a shred of point about anything. The only thing they had is that they studied L. Ron Hubbard ad nauseum and they became experts in L. Ron Hubbard. So the incongruency is, in what world are these people experts in L. Ron Hubbard really know what in the hell he pitched? And the attorneys seem to be clueless AF. Because you know what? If Monique thought the scripture is so spiritual and ecclesiastical, so then we really shouldn't say a shred of a thing about changing anything, that doesn't make sense, you guys. Literally, like, okay, so you're gonna take on this people that have already been indicted and convicted for infiltrating the government. But, we did get to hear yesterday, you guys, from the Tampa Bay Times that Mike Rinder spent a bunch of time pitching how, things couldn't have been more reformed than they really had, taking the bad apples out of the place. And they're no longer criminal. But yet, Mike Rinder is the founder of OSA. Mike Rinder was there at the very beginning. And, the scam is still alive and well. So that is a fact. That is a fact, Mike Rinder. So if you feel that you've done so much and your amends have done so much and you've helped so many people, well, think about all the people and all the kids still implicated because of that structure, that you would know the level of contribution, that you would personally know what you did. We don't know. And you haven't really been on the record stating how you acquired this 501c. What was the pitch? What was sanitized for Monique? How did you keep her clueless and in the dark so that all of this could go on? Or was Monique fully implicated too? Was Monique running around, given access to all the PC folders, or was that too parishionery? Was that too ecclesiastical that you didn't want anyone to see it? You were okay with me at 12 years old looking at PC folders, but Monique cannot watch them because what? So none of the people that prop up this stuff are anywhere to be found repudiating or, reverse engineering this racketeering scheme, which is what's needed and wanted. Martha Simmons, I need some rosewater spray, please. This stinks. Stinky, stinky, stinky. Philosophy, just send you support. Keep speaking truth. Love. Thank you, Philosophy. Really appreciate it. Down under. Thank you for joining us. And the wonderful Lara FM. Love you so much, Serge. Hitting the streets in Hollywood at 7:15 on my live stream. XOXO. Love you. Wonderful. Wonderful, Lara. I hope you have a fun time. Yesterday was real exciting, you guys. Chemist. Brainwashing. Oh, we saw that one. Thank you again, Chemist. Gene Strong. Love you. Thank you, Gene. I really appreciate that. And John Beatbot. Super sticker. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. And we have Jennifer Strickland. Sterling may not hold his parents culpable, but they are not just his story. Yeah, that's right, you guys. Everyone can hold their parents culpable for whatever. Now, yeah, do I do a broad stroke that all parents are implicated? Yes. Now, do I say exactly how every single one of them is implicated? Well, we know that they all expose their kids to this. And I don't know, maybe this is simplifying the message so that they know exactly what they're being called out for. Because yes, all parents could not be more implicated to these 3 points right here. So, but other than that, his relationship, whatever in the hell he's doing, no comment. Literally no comment. Live your life. You're free. We're not here to tell nobody how to live their life. We're here to seek answers that make a shred of sense and demand that all 21 and under are taken out of the hotels. It's really that simple. Kat, the work you've done to heal is clear and inspiring. Oh, well, thank you, Kat. I mean, you guys, the work we've done is all the work that you are also showing up here for, because we have a lot of survivors and a lot of people that have now stood behind us and are giving us the love we never received inside of those hotels, the unconditional support that we never received in those hotels, and the inspiration. I mean, you guys are the inspiration that is keeping this going. You guys are the source of the power surge. I mean, we are here because we're being listened to, and because people are caring, and because we have a whole community now that is developing here in LA that are very well aware of what is going on. You guys, you do learn a lot from watching, and all of those streams are not being watched by everyone else that is watching it. So it couldn't be more obvious to everyone else except the LAPD. You guys, the LAPD is the ones that are like, groomed. I just don't know what other word to use for them. The LAPD is groomed AF because, they walk in there and they're just like so not weirded out by anything. It seems like the relationship there, the fraternization, the free, oh yeah, come to our celebrity center, it's empty. It's like nobody ever wants to use that place, you guys, except for Scientologists, and there are not that many of them, you guys. This is the simple fact. This was never meant to be help everyone. L. Ron Hubbard told his proteges, help the able get more able. So imagine you're able. You imagine you are doing great in your life. So why in the hell would you need L. Ron Hubbard? Oh, because we're not going to be more able. More. Oh, I can do more. Oh, okay. Well, how are you going to make me more able? Well, if you just start hanging out with us, we'll get you this little deal. I mean, as if we literally didn't have Lance Bass, you guys tell us that these people are a PR machine for the celebrities. Because they open doors. Oh, we just got you this. Oh, we just got you that. So, it's a lot of different people. It's a lot of different things, you guys. So, let me see. Kenya 75. It's time. Willy Weed. Yes, it's never healthy to carry hate in your heart for anyone. Yeah, you guys, this part of the recovery of the trauma is to lose that hate. It's to lose the hate. I mean, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate these people. It's just the facts are the facts. And truly, actually, when you really think about it, is even the facts getting exposed is a sign of compassion for them. They may not see it like that right now. They may be real pressed because they're getting found out about. But at the end of the day, you know, I do believe that they want the problem to end. And if we are able to illuminate the path, to be like, okay, well, you know what? Let's end the problem right now, real quick. Let's get rid of these three things for all minors inside of the hotel. Let's make sure no one ever goes in session, gets an ethics handling, or gets a course again. Let's make sure no minors are ever employed or signed contracts and told that they couldn't be more binding. And, you know, let's make sure no more passports are getting locked up because, again, you guys, locking passports is a felony. False imprisonment is a felony, just as a full-blown black and white law. So when we say that these people committed crimes, they committed crimes. And again, it's like, was it the people's idea? Like, I want to go in there to commit a crime. No. No one's saying that that is exactly what they wanted to. That's a result of L. Ron Hubbard. So yeah, I have compassion for the people that have been ensnared and scammed. Everybody has been ensnared and scammed, you guys. No one's saying that. I've even told you guys that literally down to David Miscavige, as if he's not literally the poster child of child trafficking. As if Ron Miscavige didn't send him to L. Ron Hubbard as a 16-year-old. New Jersey to California. So yes, all the top executives got implicated. Yes, back in the day, it was a great thing. Back in the day, nobody had a shred of a clue. But, you know, we're also pushing back about the fact that nobody had a shred of a clue, you guys, because everything was pitched in the rhetoric. So there's no way to say I didn't know, because again, like, no one came up with the idea of false imprison someone in those sessions. It was pitched as, yeah, it's going to be so helpful for them. But you know what? It's not. It's not helpful. It's a felony. Children cannot be put into that situation. They are the most important victims to go and really advocate for, because, you know, the adults, you can say, don't do it. But it's like, who are we to tell an adult what in the hell they're going to do? Right? Like, I even told the kids outside, it's like, if this was about adults, then you'd be wasting your time sitting out here. I would tell you you're harassing them. I would tell you, like, who the hell do you think you are to go tell an adult what they can do with their time and their energy and their money and whatever? But I mean, obviously it goes much darker than that. Obviously, it's horrific what all of our families have experienced. Obviously, we wouldn't wish this on anybody. Now, there is accountability to be taken. There is transparency to be exposed so that we can get to the bottom of the problem. And once we get to the bottom of the problem, everything will be Gucci. Everything will be Gucci. All right, you guys. Well, I think that pretty much does it for this wonderful live that I've had with you. I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to tell you that it really does matter to all of us that that you're here, and that you're listening, and that you're caring, and that there's more and more stories and receipts that are being corroborated, and we are just lasering in on the problem. That's all that's actually happened as the facts get exposed. And it's not that, again, literally, I can only come with what I know to the facts. I don't claim to be the one that has it all figured out. No, I'm literally just coming out with, I was an auditor. I was a supervisor. I was inside of those hotels. I was 12 years old. There were a ton of minors implicated. And you know what? We couldn't be more disgusted that that was our childhood. And we've seen how hard it's been for us in the aftermath of it all. And I don't want any of those kids in there to be suffering if they even make it out. You guys, as if we know, so many of those kids literally, end up with this type of problems and that type of mental health problems that I personally had, that Kelly's gone through, that all of us have been through. It's like, it's not normal that kids want to leave those hotels in that state. And again, it sucks for all parents that were implicated, for all parents that, they really had good intentions, but then all of a sudden, L. Ron Hubbard had his way with them and they were his. So we can advocate for them in that regard. We can advocate in that regard to say, you know what? Yes, even you got scammed, admit it. No judgment. I mean, we're not sending you to purgatory for the rest of your life. You're not being sent to hell for the rest of your life. But, every single person has their fair share of responsibility and everybody knows what it is. Like, again, it's like, we're not here to tell you what that is. I have no idea. I don't claim to know. I didn't study the law that far, you guys. I cannot go to school anymore. Don't put me in a course room. Don't tell me to study. Like, I'm an artist. I'm creative. I have a wonderful, amazing life for myself now. As you guys have seen, I have a wonderful husband. I have a happy life. I have support. I have an oxygen mask. And that's why it's important for the kids that do have oxygen masks, that do have a network of support to really, to really have what needs to be done to change, to end. It needs to end. And it, there's no way to end it if we keep going at this problem with, yes, let's save every adult out of the problem. Like, the adults will find out, and so many of them have. I'm not saying that adults are not, having to face that horrible situation for themselves. Like, again, like, who wants to wake up one day and understand the level of betrayal and how those pitches were put together to seduce and lure and ensnare? All of those things can be true at once, you guys. And yes, the parents can be the victims and the perpetrators. And that's okay. That doesn't make them less human. No one's saying like they're not human. No one's saying anything other. Everybody knows everything for yourself, right? In Scientology, brushstrokes were used to dehumanize everybody and say, you're a disgusting, degraded person. You're a downtone 1.1. You're this, you're that. You are your decisions that you make every day, and you would know every person carries within them that consciousness, and I think there's a lot of room for Scientology parents to repudiate and step up, and I think there will be support and refreshing to see that, because I don't think that everyone's just like, oh my God, we know. It's like everybody knows, like, there's a period of grace, but the grace has to come with accountability and receipts and be like, okay, I'm contributing to this problem because I know this and I can do this, and use their critical thinking skills now and use their recovery process. Hopefully they're going to therapy and figuring out what proactive ways are there to make real amends. And I get that could be triggering, you guys, because in Scientology it was all about amends and make amends. But this is now on your terms. This is now for your own well-being. This is not so that I feel that I really am really important, because that was how it was at the hotel, you guys. Like, the people that are administering the justice have a power trip about them. And that couldn't be more toxic AF. And that's actually literally being called out. Like, the power trip is literally ridiculous. Like, no one is better than nobody else. Literally, like, everyone is a human. Everybody made choices. Everybody has to take accountability for those choices. Why, how, whatever, doesn't even matter. Does not even matter. The context of it doesn't matter. The judgment, not gonna make any change on the person. You know what I mean? Like inside of those hotels, it was all about judging. Like I said, you're 1-1, you're degraded, you're a piece of shit, you're worth nothing, you're in treason, that was L. Ron Hubbard's way. So now you get to go to your own therapist. Now you get to go in your own time, start figuring out how all of those layers of trauma and betrayal affected your capacity to perceive reality, which no one's saying that this gaslighting data mining operation from hell, you guys, I would know how effective we were at gaslighting people. Yes, sounding the alarm, literally like, I can't think of something more horrible for a mother or a father to have to reconcile with making the type of mistakes presented by L. Ron Hubbard himself, literally lay there on, so also they could fall on those traps. It's like, I know that. I'm aware of that, right? Like, I can totally be aware of the facts that I was an auditor since age 12. So I'm very familiar how those traps were set up. Very familiar how these audits were pitched as very beneficial and so legit. So they couldn't have been more unlegit. And the more that is repudiated as we move forward in this 2024, I feel like we're going to start getting somewhere, because we have the public outrage now. We have the people doing the due diligence and having eyeballs and observing what's going on. So I think that's a good way to understand that. Martha Simmons, Serge, kudos to Mitch Brisker speaking up here because he realized kids were effed up by their parents' actions, including his own. First here, man. Oh, cool. I didn't see that, Martha, because again, I've already told you guys, it's hard for me to watch the chat and talk to you guys. It's like, I feel like my ADD brain goes nuts. Stephanie, thank you so much, Stephanie. That's really nice. Chemist Anna and banned already from Sterling's chat for respectfully asking questions. Wow, just wow. And it's on record as well, undocumented for all to see. That's okay, Chemist. I mean, look, I get it. I get people. It's going to be hard to get pushback, and it's not going to be hard when the pushback is not to your liking. Like, that makes sense. Like, so we can still hold grace for him. And this is a journey of recovery, and everyone can be at different stages of said journey. So it's not about like everyone get on the same page. No, this is a journey of we get to have our freedom of choice, our freedom of speech, our freedom to advocate in whatever way it's needed. Every child has been abused. Every child has had their own set of horrible things happen to them. And, that's all I can say about Sterling. Sterling is going through his own journey of recovery, and we wish him the best. And we wish him for him to continue speaking his mind and being himself. And no one wants to turn anyone into anything else, you guys. That's called an ego trip from Scientology. And that's called, oh yeah, we really have the answer over here. The minute you start seeing that level of confidence, run. It's a cult. It's a cult. And we're not trying to build our own cult, you guys. We are trying to expose the facts, confront them at their face, and demand accountability. So that would be good to just have that. Here, Mitch. Hubbard didn't invent making up the damage. He weaponized it. Absolutely. So absolutely, it was weaponized. Absolutely, all of the making up the damage had horrific incentives for what it was. So here's Mitch. I admire Serge's bravery. I'm in the words of Bob Dylan. Get out the way if you can lend a hand, because the times they are changing. Well, Bob Dylan is a great poet, so I agree with you, Mitch. Like, you know, get out the way, but also just, you guys, like, again, it's like, this is the power of this community. It's like we all get to decide and make choices. Like, nobody, I'm not going to say, oh, don't go and see. Enjoy Sterling. He loves making fun. He loves having fun. It's light. It's him. So everyone is being encouraged to become more themselves, and that is the road to recovery. Literally, become more yourself. Become more self-aware. Feel free in your own skin. Be able to speak in whatever way you need to speak. We're not, no one's being accused of, having to become this robot. We're done with the robot thing. Like, the robots is what we were in that hotel, you guys. Get on the pitch, like, say the same thing, like, everyone agrees. Like, no, like, it's all this tribalism that gets created. And that's what I love about this community, the diversity. We've never had diversity in any of our communities that we were exposed to before. This is the first time I have real diversity, real people that have multiple backgrounds, no real reason to agree or disagree with me or anything, right? So we can all make adult choices and say, oh, I stand for this. I want to help this cause. I like what you're saying. Let's go and help this and support this. And every other creator, everybody's creating in their own way, and nobody has to create like me, and I don't have to create like anyone else. I think that's really, what we're talking about here, that, everybody has their own individual right to be themselves. So I really want to thank all of you guys for listening tonight. And you might see me again out on the streets to, continue collecting evidence, because that is what this journey actually requires: evidence and receipts. So let's keep putting that evidence. Let's keep putting those receipts. Let's keep questioning what's already in the public record. Let's be very specific. Let's be very direct as to what the problem actually is. Because if we start hammering at that, I really do feel, and for the first time, I have hope that something will change. For the first time, I'm feeling that, we do have the power, and that is power to survivors. That is the change we want to see. So you have all been so instrumental in this next part of my recovery journey, where I do get to advocate from my heart and get to say everything I wish an adult would have been saying when I was stuck at the hotel. So just so all the Scientology parents are now advised, I'm saying exactly what I wish someone would have said when I was stuck at the hotel. If you don't like it, I don't give a shred of an F, because I'm saying what I wish someone was saying when I was stuck at the hotel. And I think that is turning pain into purpose. I feel that is, making lemonade like Beyonce told us to do. Beyonce is our L. Ron Hubbard for some of us. Nicki Minaj is our L. Ron Hubbard for some of us. Like Lana Del Rey, like all of those songs that inspire us to be better people and to change, right, guys? Because that is the sign of intelligence, that you're able to change. And, all of us are on a long journey of evolving through this whole process. So, yes, the Scientology parents have a lot to account for. That is a given. That is a fact. They need to do more. That is a given. That is a fact. We need to get kids out of the hotel. That is a given, and that is a fact. And, I really do feel that little by little, we're getting there. So I'll see you guys all extremely soon. And thank you so much for joining me this evening. Have a wonderful evening. and see you all extremely, extremely soon. Bye bye.